Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm Lady Nyca, and today would be day 2 and the final day of sentencing for Amber Geiger. I'm going to take you step by step as the process unfolds today. We started off with Alexis Stossel. She's the former college mate of Botham John, and she explained her relationship with Bo and that they worked on a committee that helped students during and after attending Harding University. She said he was her next favorite guy in her life other than her husband. Then she got really emotional speaking about her and Botham friendship and how she thought he'd be in her life forever, even told her husband that he's family. We saw photos of her husband Jacob together with Botham as well as herself. She said he married a few of their college friends. He officiated the ceremony, and we saw photos of that as well. She spoke of texting him the night before, LOL, and waking up the next day to a call that he had died and just basically dropping to her knees in just utter disbelief. She said she never lost someone so close to her. She said that she was so devastated by that call, she actually called Botham 7 times that morning. But of course, he was not answering. He was no longer on this side of the living. Then we met Bertram John. That's his father. His dad broke down almost immediately, explaining their family dynamic. He said he always wanted Botham with him when he, from a child on up. He always wanted Botham with him, even when he had to take him to the mother, his grandmother, the sitter. He would still make time every day to make sure to go check on his son, and if need be, take his son to work with him. He was very close to them. Every Sunday they talked about, what they had, what had heard happened at worship. His dad, of course, lives in St. Lucia, but he was here in Dallas. He was there in Dallas. I'm talking about here like I'm in Dallas, child. Anyway, he said Sundays are not the same anymore. Sundays are not good for him. So now, for him, he said his Sundays are no longer good, and for them, no, now on, they will never be able to be the same. And then that man kept breaking down the whole time he was speaking about his son. He said he try to stay strong for the family as best he can to keep Boston's memory going as well. He spoke about how surreal it feels that he will never see his son again. He wishes he could. You could tell this man and his wife and kids are suffering because this woman, Amber Geiger, didn't use wise judgment and just killed their son senselessly. Listening to Bertram John really was emotional. You seen it. Even the Judge Kemp had to take a 15-minute break to allow the jury to, kind of take in what they had just heard because it was an emotional testimony back to back from the best friend to the father. Then, after the break, we go to Karen Geiger, which is the mother of Amber. She took the stand to speak on what she could say about her daughter. Amber is the youngest of 3 kids. Parents separated when Amber was about 5. The mother, they showed pics of Amber and her siblings. Amber was sexually molested. We learned at a very early age, I think age of 5, by her mother boyfriend. And once she found out about it, the police was called, and of course Joe was arrested. She claims Amber was sweet and made friends very easily. She spoke of talking to Amber right after the shooting, and she said Amber was crying so hard she could barely understand it. Her mom said Amber wanted to take his place. She feels very bad about what happened. The mom, who is sick also, had to get assistance when leaving the stands as not to fall. She has some really serious medical issues, and you can tell she's sickly. I'm not insensitive. I felt for that mother, her mother, because I'm a mother myself. But I still cannot negate the fact that Amber killed an unarmed black man in his own apartment. That family will never be the same either. So, in my book, Amber still got one up on Botham. And the family, her family does too. They can go right on down there to that penitentiary and see her ass every weekend if they want to. The only place that the Botham Jeans family can go is to his cemetery, to his final resting spot where they buried him. So, she still don't get no pass from me. Next was Alana Geiger. That's the older sister of Amber. She spoke about their family dynamics. She spoke about Amber and called her brave and that she always admired her sister. She said the mom was dating that Joe Ortiz guy and he was the one that molested Amber and they all ended up going to counseling as a result of that. Amber hid a lot of her feelings, but through the counseling, she did learn how to verbalize how she was feeling. She verbalized it to her older sister. She's always wanted to be a police officer, Alana said. She spoke about Amber becoming a Dallas police officer and how excited she was. She said that they remained very close and they all took time to help and care for the mother who has health issues. She said that this incident has affected Amber. She has shown remorse for killing him, Botham Jean. Next up was Nancy Bishop. She's Amber's aunt. Karen, I think, younger sister. She described Amber as a very loving person. She too stated that Amber always wanted to be a police officer, and pretty much that was the end of her testimony. Then a police officer named Kathy or Kate or something like that. She works with Amber, but they've been friends for 10 years. They started out working as servers at TGI Fridays. She also stated that Amber wanted to be a police officer long before she did. They never worked together in the police department per se. They were stationed to different state. They were assigned different substations. After the police academy, they kept in touch over the years. She said Amber is a very caring and selfless person that tries to do good about all people. She even told a story of when she was pregnant and she had to go and pick up a baby crib and a baby changing table, and Amber took the time out to take her, which was out of the city, to another city to get the items. And on the way back, once they got back, they realized that the changing table had fallen off, and Amber was very concerned about, the possibility that baby changing table could actually cause an accident, but amongst the drivers along the highway. So they went back, and instead of the pregnant woman getting out running across the highway to pick up the changing table when they found it, Amber was the one that did it. And apparently this highway is some I-65 where the drivers are alleged to have to go up to at least 70 miles per hour, possibly even more. Okay? Uh, okay. I think that was it on what she had to say. Next we met Rhonda Richardson. She's a detective now with the Dallas PD, been on the job for 20 years. She trained Amber during the fourth phase of her training, basically supervising Amber and making sure that she was ready to be out on the streets by herself. She said Amber did absolutely well at that point. She said after her time was up with Amber, other officers that worked with Amber always spoke highly of her. Next was Thomas McPherson, a fellow police officer with the Dallas Police Department. He is on the SWAT team. He said he and his friend Amber had been friends for 6 years, met in the academy. They were assigned the same substation. They worked together in the same calls at times, and he said he always felt safe with her. He recalled the moments him and Amber worked together and how concerned she was for him and the citizens that they were protecting. He said they were all close. The prosecution then questioned him about the text thread where they complained about various things, and he admitted it was true. The prosecution then asked if it's safe to say that not all of them are close, because she kept bringing up the fact that they spoke very disparagingly of not only one of the main supervisors, but they also made comments about the work ethics of the white officer versus the black officer, right? Then the prosecutor asked about certain parts of the thread, which is what we were just talking about, right? The lawyers and the judge end up having a sidebar conversation. When they returned, the judge allowed the prosecution to continue to see what point they were reaching for. The prosecution again explained that they all met with the officer that was testifying, the officer McPherson, and that earlier that he stated that the text thread contained how their day went and how they complained about a supervisor. Basically, refuted the fact that Amber is respectful when it comes to how she feels about her supervisors. In other words, they made her out to be a lie, which is what he was doing. It was a lie. He was basically getting up there trying to say that she was this type of person, but then those text messages said something totally different. Not only did it have racial undertones, we definitely know via those text messages that Amber did not have respect like she said. Everybody's getting up there saying she had. I guess she had respect when everybody was around, but if you get close enough to her, she'll tell you the real truth, and that was the thing that the prosecution was heading for, and they were right. They even brought up her suggesting pepper spraying the citizens attending the MLK march, her disrespect toward MLK. He said that all of this sounds out of character for Amber, but they stated that it's not. Out of character. It's just that all he can really testify to is how she did with him. All this extra stuff she had going on, he can't really testify. So he's not testifying per se about her character. He's testifying about what he know about her. And what a person may think of you and what you actually are can always be two totally separate things. So basically, in the thread, we learned they trash talked the supervisor. They didn't always follow instruction. They were not all as close as he was trying to portray it to be. In fact, they didn't always respect each other, and that point came through. Then they came to the conclusion that he doesn't communicate with Amber all the time too, and her character he can only speak for once again what he knows. They not like every day with each other. Then we met Maribel Chavez. She was next. She knew her Amber for 14 years. They met in high school, became friends fairly quickly. She stated that Amber was a very engaging person and drew folks to her. They played in the band together. She stated that Amber wanted to be a police officer even back then. That was her main thing she wanted to do in life, right? The lady was very emotional from the jump because perhaps she knows her friend is going to be going to prison for some time very soon. Uh, it could be because she said they were so close, they were like sisters. She showed pictures of her and Amber in the mariachi band and all of that stuff. She spoke on Amber's character, saying that she is loving and selfless. She stated that she did see Amber after the accident and she was off. She wasn't herself. She said Amber had immense remorse. She said Amber does not feel that she deserves any happiness after all of this because she is so remorseful. She said Amber started relying more on her faith after the academy, and that is what she feels is really helping her keep going in the days and months since that shooting. Then we meet Brenda Sales, another emotional character witness for her best friend since 7th grade, Brenda Sales. She explained that they met in the orchestra. She said her family and her were going through a lot at that time, and she felt she had no one to talk to until she met Amber. They stayed in touch with each other after high school. She said since the incident, Amber is not the same person. She is not fun-loving, and she jokes no more. Next up was LaWanda Clark, a black female around the age of 67-year-old, former crackhead that Amber basically helped her get out away from the addiction. She got her into a treatment center, and she also told us that Amber attended her graduation from the treatment center and how much that really meant to her. Then they come to the closing arguments. We decide that, well, the judge decided that each side would have 25 minutes to state their final arguments, right? Then the jury would go into deliberation. When the jury came and it was seated, Judge Kemp read the jury the charges. We learned that she can't parole unless she serves half of the sentence. If she receives a life sentence, she must have first served at least 30 years of that before becoming eligible for parole. The prosecution, holding Botham Jean's picture up the whole time, explained today is the day to decide the fate of the murderer. They went over the testimony of his friends and colleagues and family. They also talked about the defendant's friends and family and colleagues and what they had to say about her. They brought up the text messaging and the social media posts. They talked about, they said people show you who they really are when they become comfortable with you. They moved into the text she made about the MLK and the parade of MLK. They used those messages and posts to show her character. They went for the final kill and told the jury to take all the time into consideration. However, Amber did not feel the same about black officers as she did her white officers, by her own words in those text messages, right? They showed the messages between her and the partner, Riviera, the one she was having an affair with, in the days after Botham's death, while his family was planning his funeral. Her and her partner was talking about getting together, getting drunk, and doing the dippity-doo. And she urged them to take all that into consideration. Last weekend, Botham would have, he right after me. Child, last weekend he would have turned 28 years old. So they basically was saying 5, 10, or 15-year prison sentence would not be nearly enough. And they brought up the fact that 28 would be a good year, but they urged them to review the evidence and do what's just for the John family as well as for Botham. The prosecution spoke, thanked the jury for taking all the evidence into consideration when rendering their verdict, now urges them to take into consideration Amber works. They tried to discredit the text messages and social media posts as much as they could. They threw up LaWanda Clark as a representation that she can't be prejudiced or racist if she went out her way for this woman, okay? And helped her get off drugs. He spoke about Brenda and Maribel, the longtime friendship she had with them, and how they say that she's the only person they trust. She's got to be a decent person. If it's two people on this earth saying that, pretty much everybody that came along said they trust her, but those are two of her longest running friends. How she worked since the age of 16 full time to earn her own money and be able to help her family. They talked about, they say Amber did not go there expecting to kill Botham, that she feels remorse, and they basically tried to discredit the social media stuff again and urged them to remember all the cases are different. The prosecution said they should think 28 years is the number of years Botham would have been had he lived. That's when they came back and tried to refute the defense because the prosecution spoke twice. Outside the after they said all that, the jury was let go of to go deliberate. Outside the courtroom, the Jean family attorneys and the pastor of the church that Botham attended in Dallas was able to speak. And what I got from that, they're saying it's a historical moment. A white female officer to be convicted of killing an unarmed black man. How many black men are convicted unlawfully and have spent years in prison? Did they get consideration in asking the jury and the public? Did they get any consideration whatsoever? Like they trying to ask everybody to have for Amber. An unarmed black man does not have the same advantages as an armed white man, it was said. And I agree. Botham Jean should have never been killed. It was a better way, like backing out the door, calling for help. He should not have been killed. It should have been de-escalated, and she should have been trained to know how to do so. Although I believe Amber feels remorse, it does not again negate the fact that Botham's life has ended unjustly at the hands of an overzealous cop. Sudden passion was brought up, but they said that can only be used if the evidence is proved that if there was evidence there that he provoked her in any way, and that is something he did not do. They said if Botham had killed her, he would not have slept in his own bed that night. If he had deleted text messages like she did, he would have been charged with tampering with evidence. But Amber did not receive any extra charges, and they allowed her to go home that night. And then the jury came back with the decision to give this woman 10 years. And the brother spoke very eloquently, forgiving her and wishing her well, and saying that the time that she has to go to prison, she needs to take that time to heal and become a better person. Now, although I am happy that this man's life did not get taken in vain, I'm very happy about that. I'm very happy about the fact that justice was somewhat served, but I can't completely say that I'm at peace with this because 10 years is not a lot. Now, the people said that if she is charged with 10 years, then she has to do a certain amount of that, meaning that she comes up for parole. I also saw some things in the courtroom that I have mixed emotions about. I don't know that I could have stood up in front of a court and basically forgave her. Not in that moment. Not with such a light sentence. Because make no mistake about it, 10 years for what she did was very soft, in my opinion. It seemed like although everybody was around the John family and congratulating them and appreciating them for being there and whatnot, what really touched me was when that judge came out and gave that girl a Bible. Now, I don't know what all was said because we couldn't pick up the sound in here. But what I can say is, how many judges do you know come out and offer a Bible in a high-profile case like this, knowing that she being filmed, and talk to them at length and hug them? How many black men or women who are convicted in this country every day ever get that type of treatment? In my opinion, and this could be because I'm still raw in my feelings, or it could just be me seeing it for what it is. Ain't no way in hell a black person would have ever got treated like that. Ain't no way in hell a black person would have got charged with 10 years for doing a murder. First degree murder, 10 years, that's all she got to go do. Whereas this family's whole life has been turned upside down. There will be no more holidays and birthdays to look forward to. He'll never be able to go outside and feel the warm sun on his face again. He'll never be able to call his mama and his daddy and have conversations with them. There will be a missing chair at the Thanksgiving and the Christmas holiday table every year from now on. He is not here. But yet, at some point, the Texas justice system is going to allow Amber Geiger to walk free. She is going to do her little time, and she is going to go home. She still has life in her. She has time. If her mother holds out, her mama might still be even alive when she get out. She gets to enjoy her family again. Yeah, she got to go to prison right now, but think about it, y'all. If 2019 just started yesterday, and here we is in October, how long do you think these 10 years really going to last? Time is moving constantly. That's the one thing that don't never change is time, baby. Time keeps moving on your ass. You can stop and stand still in time, but that don't mean time gonna go on. And I'm gonna be angry because although I feel like I'm happy that she got a guilty verdict, I feel like still she got treated a whole lot better than many of my brothers and sisters of color who have been convicted or accused of a crime. Even before they get convicted, they get treated like trash. This girl was out on bond. They denied R. Kelly bail today, but they let her spend a whole year out from that time she been in jail. From when she killed this man. They allowed her to sit at home and prepare for her judgment day. Now, I'm sorry, y'all. A lot of people say you shouldn't bring race into this, but race plays every bit a part of this because this is a white woman with white woman privileges in America. Yesterday, we had a sense of pride at the fact that they had found her guilty. Today, I guess you could say we should be happy she is at least going to prison because at least she's going to prison. Whereas Mike Brown, Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, these people, they never lost no time with their families. They were able to get due process of the law, as we all are entitled to. They were bonded out, and they could stay at home and fight their case. How many black people get that today? Okay? It's just, it bothers me, y'all. I keep seeing it for what it is. And maybe that's the consciousness in me waking up again. Because I kind of put that to sleep a little bit because I thought I was being a bit too overbearing. But I'm not okay with this sentence. I'm just not. I just know damn well if that was me sitting on that trial for that against a white man, they'd have took the clear and locked my black ass up. If this was you or your son, your black daughter that had done what this girl done, ain't no judges coming out to give you no damn Bible. Ain't no such thing as no 10 years. Ain't nobody gonna be talking about she can take the time now to rebuild her life and become a better person. Ain't nobody gonna be saying none of that shit. They gonna be take the key and lynch this nigga up. And yes, I just said nigga. Because that's the way, whether we want to admit it or not, a lot of white America see us. Not all. I ain't going to group all y'all the same, so I don't want you grouping me in with nothing. But that is how a lot of white America see us. Oh, I know this video ain't finna be monetized, but that's fine. I'm not settled. I'm not okay. Yes, it's a victory, in a sense. I'm trying to think of that word that I heard in this movie called 187. If y'all remember, put it down in the comment. This is a victory, but I forgot what kind of victory that girl said that it was on that movie. I can't remember the word that I need to use, but it's basically where you win, but you lose in order to win. We got this victory of this white woman being convicted of killing this unarmed black man in his own home. But at the same time, America still showed us today that in many cases they see us as 3/5 a person. Because if that was a white man or a white woman had been killed in their own home, you can best believe the sentence would have been guilty. And, the verdict would have been guilty, but 10 years would have been a slap in the face. They wouldn't have dared try to pull a 10-year sentence out of that. I wasn't on the trial. I wasn't on the jury. I don't know what them people felt and what they was going through. But that is it. That is all. That's all I feel like saying about this situation. I'm done with it as of right now. If something comes to me, I feel better in my spirit. I'll come back down here and I'll talk about it again. But basically, Amber Geiger got convicted, first-degree murder. But she only got to go to prison for 10 years. God bless America. Remember, the depth of your struggle will determine the height of your success. In the meantime, in between time, please remember to rate the video. Ratings get me in the algorithm down here on the YT streets. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I don't care what they are. Just keep up with the rules that I have on my channel and my chat. We can agree to disagree. Just do that shit respectfully. Comment down. Go ahead and leave your comment. If you haven't subscribed to the channel. Yeah, I got to get off of here. My nerves are just shot. Have a good day. And thank you for your continued support. I'm out.